guys, happy Thursday. Oh my god, I am in severe pain. So I left work a half hour early. I don't even give a shit, dude. I don't even give a shit. It's being made up by the fact that I had to stay a half hour late the other day. So we're still square on work. You know what's so interesting is the other day I was, on the internet, and this guy was like, for the first time in history, I can't remember if he said 3 or 4, but I'm fairly certain he said 3. He's like, for the first time in history, we have 3 generations in the workplace. I'm thinking he must have said 4 though, because immediately what I did was, for some reason, the first question I had was, well, how old is what's the age of the oldest person in Congress? And I think it's a woman, and I think she's 87 fucking years old. 87! I know that the average age of a person in Congress is like in the 70s, which is just... But to know that there's somebody that's 87 fucking years old, it's insane. So that means that person, that woman, I believe, was born, she's part of the silent generation, right? So it goes silent generation, baby boomers, Generation X after boomers, millennials, Gen Z, and then you have Alpha. So really, I don't think Alpha is quite in the workforce yet. So that means, there's 4 fucking generations in the workplace, but 3, I guess, because there's no Alpha Congress member. There's 3.
Actually, there's 5 in Congress too, because the youngest is 28.
I don't know. I'm just like, it's shit like that just like, it's like I know, but you don't know until you hear it directly out loud. And I just wish so many people would fucking retire, man. Like, just let it fucking go. If I think a lot of people, it's like they think that they can't afford to retire, but it's just like, man, I know on this hand I know, the fastest growing generation of people going homeless is the boomers, but also on this hand I'm just like, dude, how could you fuck it up? How could you have fucked it up? Like, the minimum wage still worked for you guys. The minimum wage did what it was designed to do, which was designed to afford you a home and a family, especially if both you and your wife worked. But no, apparently so many of them fucked it up on... It's so funny. So many things that bankrupted so many boomers, approximately half of them, and counting, we just don't do anymore. Like, department stores, aren't really a thing anymore. They're just not. Toy stores aren't a thing. I saw that go. When I was a kid, there was Toys R Us, and that was about it. I mean, there was one local place in my hometown that, like, just mom and pop toy store, very wholesome. But yeah, they didn't last too much. I don't think they made it to, like, when I was 20. So, but yeah, it's just, and people going out after work for happy hour, that's not happening anymore. Smoking, cig after cig after cig to the point where you buy in cartons, that doesn't happen anymore. The last thing I hope that people don't do, I don't know, I was gonna go into my tobacco tangent, but never mind. Like, people just don't get it. In short, I believe organic tobacco, should you not be addicted to it, I think it's a fine thing to smoke. Actually, last night, because of the shit at work and just like my inability to ruminate on stuff right now because of what's going on with me hormonally speaking. Yesterday, for the first time in, I can't even remember the last time I smoked some hemp, which, if you don't know, it's like the square cousin of weed. It literally has less than 0.5% of THC in it. So I was so relaxed, and I was able to fall asleep so fast. I was just like, oh my God, like, why don't I do this more often? I mean, I don't need to, that's the thing. Like, I literally have so much hemp, you have no idea. You would never guess how much I have. It's insane. I was a hemp farmer for a little bit. But yeah, these boomers, dude, like they fucked up royally. So many of them fucked up royally. And it's kind of too bad for them because, they're not getting the sympathy that most homeless people get. It's just like, what did you not do? What did you do that you fucked off when, because now we're working with an American dollar that's worth maybe 10% of what it was worth, I don't know, 70s. No, the 70s it got precipitously bad starting in the 70s. Like between 1970 and 1977, the dollar fell 50%, like in a staggering amount. And there was a lot of really bad inflation in the 70s, but it was still doable. It was still fucking doable because homes were, relatively cheaper. Yeah, sure, interest was much higher than it is now, but this fucking boomer in front of me, old ass fuck. I hate how they drive. They're the worst drivers. What am I saying? So kids now, they don't smoke, they don't drink, they don't shop. I love that. Like, don't be like the boomers. Don't be anything like the boomers, dude. They fucked off royally. And even if they're okay, even if they're doing okay money-wise, like, you go into a boomer house, and unless they've gone through like a minimalism thing, their house is so packed full of fucking shit. It's not fair to their kids who are gonna have to deal with that. And actually it's fine because there's entire industries that have come out of just clearing out boomer homes because their kids don't want to. You couldn't pay the kid enough to even take any of the shit. They don't fucking want it, Luckily, I didn't grow up in a house that was... One, I didn't grow up in a house. I grew up in a fucking trailer. So I guess the good thing about that was that we couldn't put that much stuff in it. Like, my mom couldn't... She geeked out on mini... How would you say? Like, mini tea sets. Like a pot, 2 cups, a little thing for milk and sugar, like all in the size of a gerbil. She geeked out on that, and she had I think it's a curio cabinet, and it was full of those. That was her thing, but she couldn't really fill up the house with stuff, and thank fucking God. Like, there is a bright side to everything, It did bother me for a long time that I didn't even grow up in a fucking house. But looking back, it's like, well, at least I didn't grow up surrounded by fucking clutter, Anyway, yeah, these fucking boomers, dude. Like, if for the ones that are doing fine and they don't want to retire because they just believe that, the company would fall apart without me, let it, bro. Let it, Gail. Come on. Let it fucking go. Like, at this point, like, America just needs... Because the youth is so soft and so disillusioned, like, they cannot keep going this way. They cannot keep going in their formidable years unchallenged. Like, it is so important that kids have challenge in their childhood, because it just makes for a much more robust, interesting, and even beautiful adult. Like, if a kid, spoiled kids who grow up to be spoiled adults are the worst people, bar none. Arguably, that's who's running our country and our world. The worst people, the worst parents, the worst partners, the worst everything. Like they literally, they make no value besides monetary for the company that they work for. That's it. But they are just, and spoiled kids, dude, like I cannot with a spoiled kid. Like if I was ever somebody that was out in public and a kid like started being rude to me, whether it be verbally or like physically, you bet I'm gonna fucking backhand that kid. I will never let a kid disrespect me, ever. I don't give a shit. I'll spend 3 days in jail. I will backhand your snot-nosed little fuck kid if he or she is ever disrespectful to me. I will not be disrespected by children. Absolutely not. And yeah, part of that comes from the fact that as a kid, I was not allowed to be disrespected. And if I ever was, I did get backhanded. Thank fucking God. Thank fucking God, man. Like, no, man, no. But more important than being hit is kids need to be challenged. Kids, because that's where they get their self-esteem from, right? The self-esteem that you gather when you're a kid, that's the bags you pack for adulthood. And if you got nothing in those bags when you reach, 17, 18 and you start going into the working world, like you are just gonna be worthless. Like you're just gonna be worthless, man. You're not gonna have any ethic. You're not gonna have any grit. You're not gonna have anything, which is just insane. Like I could not imagine growing up and then coming out into the world with literally nothing to give. Like being a personality hire will only get you so far, man. Those people, they know they're the first ones to be cut. They do get jobs. They do get jobs in certain industries, not too many, especially the ones that are going to keep going on post, AI takeover. But they are the first ones to get cut. Of course you're going into this nice house, you fucking boomer. Fucking shit fuck. It's so funny. At my last job, in the interview, they specifically they asked me, they're like, you don't use the word boomer, do you? I'm like, no, why would I ever use that? I mean, that was 4 years ago or so, which is crazy. 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember. And I was like, no, and yeah, at the time I was just like, no, why would I ever, I wasn't young enough for okay boomer to be in my vernacular, but now I'm using it because it is in my vernacular now. It's so funny. You're lucky that's your slur. You're lucky that your slur is your actual generation's name, because it could be a lot fucking worse, and it should be a lot fucking worse. Boomers, you got the Karens, which is a subgroup of the boomers, and I think the male version is the Ken. But these are just everyday names. They don't really sting. Millennials, we get called snowflakes a lot. We got called snowflakes a lot, and even now, they do transpose snowflake onto Z and stuff, but that was originally for us, and it was don't call me a fucking snowflake, you fuck. You have no idea what the fuck I've gone through. You have no idea what it's like to live, to be me, I've never had a piece of avocado toast. What the fuck are you talking about? I've been so poor my whole life. I never even made avocado toast at home. The only time I've ever actually even bought avocados is when I was making guacamole and they were on fucking sale. Shut up. I think millennials, I love my generation. I do. for so many fucking reasons. Because we are just so aware of how shitty things have been. Of course, there are some millennials that come from rich families and they were given like a house or, you know, maybe just a house down payment on a house. But that's huge. But that wasn't that many. And even now, like the number of millennials with a house is like literally like between 5 and 10%. It's crazy. It's crazy small. So, and it's funny. Then you got Gen X, and nobody ever talks about them. Nobody ever talks about them. It's so fucking funny. They always manage to squeak by, and they're known as the forgotten generation, which is hilarious. But, you know, half of them did well and half of them did not. It just depends on if they got into, like, you know, a house early enough. Which, for, I would say, maybe half of them they did, because that's what they knew. A lot of X grew up in a house. I think younger X's, that's when they started to, their parents anyway, started to, like, fall on hard times, and it was like, okay, the trailers are coming, trailer parks are coming. I know trailer parks have been a thing for a while, but I'd say it was, I don't know, let me do research on that. Like, when did trailers really start to become you know, a way in which, like, a good percentage of the population start working living in, you know? I don't know, I have no idea. And it's just so fucked, because now you have tiny homes that people are using, you know, of all ages, but they're so damn expensive. They cost as much as a fucking house did, you know, 20, 30 years ago. Like, why would I ever pay $100,000 for a tiny home? Are you out your fucking mind? Are you out your fucking mind? $100K for a goddamn shed. Oh my God, this world is so fucking retarded. Yeah, we need people to just, it's time to just level your life up. A lot of old people need to leave the job. They need to fucking leave the job. Hell may come, whatever, doesn't fucking matter. Hell needs to arrive now, so the kids grow up and, you know, the Fed wakes up, and or the people en masse wake up. This shit cannot keep going on, dude. Like, this slow decline. It's so boring. I'm bored. You can only watch Nick Fuentes for so long, dude. Like, and on Fuentes, like, just the, you know, last 2 minutes of that kid, he's such a dumb fuck in so many ways. He's smart, sure, but he's so dumb, and, you know, it's like, it really, he's so cringe. The thing that's cringe about him is that he reminds me of what it's like to be that age. He reminds me of what it's like to be that age. And, you know, I don't know what his personality type is. Off the cuff, I'd say ENTP, because I've met a couple ENTPs and he kind of reminds me of them. But, like, that guy, he's a white nationalist. No, he's not. He's half Mexican, like a quarter Italian and a quarter white. That first 50% is gonna be a problem, dude. Like, those white people making their little compound somewhere, whites only compound, they wouldn't take Nick Fuentes. The irony. And then, you know, he doesn't believe in miscegenation, right? Mixed race relationships. Dude, are you damning yourself to be an incel for the rest of your life then? And even that, like, I don't even think he's an incel. He claims he's one. It's like, no, you're not. You're just busy. You could get a girl. You in the political, from who's into the same shit you are. Dude, don't tell me you're an incel, bro. You're decently good looking. I'm not sure how tall he is. He's got money. He's got clout. He just doesn't make time for women. And that's fine. But don't tell me you're an incel. You cannot say you're an incel. You can only be an incel. Does that make sense? Fucking hell. Anyway, I'm home. You guys take care. Can you see my cows in the back? Ah, I love them. Have a great night. Have a great day. I'll talk to you guys probably next week. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. But maybe not. Bye.